budget and function normally while helping their communities recover.
At the Capitol, Chris Fox, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Breaking news on the hour, at the half, and anytime at WOAI.com, brought to you by 5 Star Cleaners. I'm Morgan Moehle, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
WOAI is an iHeart radio station.
Welcome everybody.
Laptops to tablets,
what?
smartphones to
Are we on live?
I've got the insight.
Oh yes, we are.
Me, Kim Commando, tomorrow at noon on News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed are those of the advertiser.
Ready?
I know.
Good stuff.
Let's put our headphones on. That was him.
It's very loud.
As long as I get more time at the end. As long as we get more time at the end. Sounds good. Welcome to the KM Builders Remodeling Design Show. Glad to be back with you. It's been a while since we've been live after football games and took a little trip to New Orleans, so glad to be back with all you friends. And if those of you who are watching live on Facebook or on YouTube, we are happy to see Morgan in the studio. She's been in here a couple of times with me before, but Morgan is now going to be a regular part of our show. I think she'll spice it up some, so welcome Morgan. This is my daughter Morgan Moehle Roberts.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Let me see if I can get that microphone on. Is that the one? Let's see that. Try it again.
Hi, thanks for having me, everybody.
Yeah, that's the right one. Okay, so we're using microphone 3. And so we thought that the show today we'd kind of introduce the new format and introduce Morgan, who's in charge of our marketing at KM Builders. And we're going to just bring out another dimension to the... Also, we want to add that dimension of a customer's perspective, of course, the millennial generation that we hope will listen to our show and to which is listening to and following us on Facebook and YouTube as well. But all of you, if you haven't done so, we would love for you to check us out on Facebook Live or at KM Builders.
If on Facebook, it's at KM Builders 1, and then on YouTube, it's KM Builders. You just Google that.
Google KM Builders and you'll find that YouTube, and that's live also. So, but well, again, like always, we take your calls live at 737-1200. We'd love for you to join us in, even if you just want to say hi. We would love that too, and Morgan will love to meet y'all. She gets to the jobs sometimes on the photo sessions, and Alexis, her daughter, her sister, and my daughter we're also doing that. Alexis is now in New York, living in the state of New York, and we wish her well up there and say hi to Alexis. If you're watching, Alexis, hello. And I think that Morgan will tease me a little bit and get me out of my comfort zone. On the radio, I probably don't show the same personality that I do in person. People have told me that I'm different in person, and I'm like, wow, how's that possible? But after I listen to the show, sometimes I do agree that it's a certain part of me, but it's not all of me, and we just want to make sure that you are having fun listening to the show, and I'm hoping that it'll make me and Morgan be more creative for you all. little more interaction, especially with these media sources that we're doing now. But again, if you want to talk about remodeling or about anything, really for that matter, 737-1200 is that number, or 1-800-383-WOAI. And the topic for remodeling that we are going to talk about each week will be relative, and you know that I like to be specific. So if we can be specific about something that you're interested in, we can do that. We can change subjects pretty quickly. We usually have one major subject. This week, though, we're going to talk about what people really are looking for in remodeling, in a remodeling contractor. And I want to hear Morgan's perspective, and you probably would like to hear it too, because it's probably more about the way you think. And so as Morgan is in our studio each week, she's going to bring that perspective and say things like, you know, hey, you know, people want to know this too. And so she'll get more and more comfortable with the show and be able to give that other perspective and ask me questions that I may not have thought of.
Yeah, especially because even though I grew up around the remodeling, I'm not experienced in it. So I don't have any knowledge of it. So that's why I think it'll be helpful, because I am like the regular consumer. That's
right. So that's a good point. And she also has another opportunity to bring out things she sees in the company that I take for granted. Maybe things that would interest you in the remodeling industry that she finds very interesting. And you know, you just can't have everybody's perspective, because our own perspective is what we have, and it's hard to view it from someone else. So I thought having Morgan in here would help get another perspective of someone who would find other things interesting, or even concerning, or curious, or puzzling about this business. Because there's a lot to discuss in this business, as I've tried to do over these last 14 years. But I'm looking forward to having Morgan joining me in this, as she takes a real interest and enthusiasm in the remodeling business. So when we come back after the break, we're going to go ahead and discuss things that either you bring up in your phone calls at 737-1200, or we're going to bring up that subject of, well, what are people really looking for when it comes to making the decision to remodel, and how do they choose? And so I think we'll enjoy talking about that when we come back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show.
There are lots of reasons.
And what I have to do in the meantime is listen to the headphones, since I can't hear it on the big speaker.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to see what Tracy says was that call. Hey Tracy, what were they talking about on the phone call? Were they saying hi or something? They
were looking for the wrong show, car show.
Yeah, they were looking for the wrong show.
That's finished.
So, how many likes do we have on Facebook, or on
2.
YouTube? We have 2. Who's watching on Facebook?
Mom.
Mom, hi Mom. Hi babe.
And Debbie was watching.
So Debbie, get back on. Where's my viewer, Michelle? Michelle's always watching.
And then I can't see who's watching on YouTube, but if any of you guys have a question, you can chat. You can put it in the chat, and I can see it during the show, so we can take questions on here too if you're just watching on.
We won't answer that phone anymore.
Well, I have a cable company. That's what it was.
Oh.
Coming out, and they just if I didn't answer, they would have kept calling.
Ah.
So.
They didn't say anything.
I know, they're just saying.
Pre-recorded.
If you know, they just make you say yes or no to keep the appointment.
Yeah.
They would have kept calling.
So we need to borrow somebody's phone
Mm-hmm.
who never gets phone calls, who never wants phone calls.
Yeah.
We'll buy that phone if it never gets phone calls.
Well, that's why we just need to have. We can use
iPads.
The iPods. Those iPod touches.
Okay.
We can use those.
That's what we're going to do then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they good? As good a quality video?
I don't know. That's what I'll have to look into.
So think about what we're going to discuss when we get back with people, questions they have about starting a remodeling project, and how. What do you think?
What do you say?
Okay, we're a minute out. what do you think would interest people, you know, about remodel, about the things that are done, what people are really looking for? What do you think would impress people about our company?
Okay, I'll think about it.
Let me get some of my notes.
What would people be impressed about?
Yeah.
He said 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. And we are live at taking your calls this Saturday, and we have Morgan Moehle Roberts in the studio, and she's going to be a regular part of the show from here on out as long as she can put up with me.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Morgan. Morgan has been in the company. Tell us a little about what you've done in KM Builders.
After high school, I started in accounting. I did the invoicing.
That's right. So she was a graduate of
Health Careers
High School.
And then I got kicked out because he wanted me to get a different job just to be safe, to have work experience.
Got not kicked out of high school, but kicked out of the company.
Yeah. Kicked out of working for him, and so I went and I was working at University Hospital. I was a pharmacy tech for about 4 years, and then I came back on my own because, well, and he offered me a job, but no more weekends and no more nights, and so that was great. And so now I work in the marketing department, and so that's why I'm working here doing the radio with him. It's part of marketing, and I think that'll be a lot more of a fun show with two people. You used to have two people, right?
Yeah, we did years ago when we first started the show. It was one gentleman who passed away, but then there was Tim Merriman, who got me really going in it and made it a lot of fun. And so I have a lot of appreciation for Tim. Yes, some people know him as Mr. T. And so after a while, the only show that he was hosting with me was the weekend show with me. That was the only show that he had on the weekend. He was coming in all the way from Floresville to do that show, and I said, Tim, I think I can do it on my own. If you just show me what you're doing, I'm comfortable enough now doing it. So since then, I started doing it. So he showed you the
controls, or what?
Yeah, he showed me the controls, and you know, God, that was about tough for a few minutes the first week, and after that, it was pretty easy, and we've been doing it. I've been doing it by myself and occasional guests, and so we still plan on having guests to the show on specific topics. Some of our trade partners that we have are good ones to bring on, especially during different seasons when these things are popular. But also, if you want to request some topic, we can make a topic for a show. You can do that. What's the best way to reach you, we feel, Morgan? Is it through the Facebook, or is it through the emails at the office, info@KM Builders? Just log on to the website, right?
Mm-hmm. You can just go on to www.kmbuilders.com, and then you fill out a form, and it can be for anything. You can type, radio show topic request, and we'll get it and we'll put it on.
Or you can say, hello, Morgan, or Keith. And so this is the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show, and now it kind of stands for Keith and Morgan Show. So
I've always thought that.
You've always thought that? Okay, great. So you were ready for that. I thought I was going to surprise you and make you excited, but you were already ready for it. Okay. So, but it has been a family business all along, and sometimes the two girls were very young. My wife, Jacqueline, used to do the accounting in our company when we were smaller, and of course that's been passed on to two people in accounting, but Tara's been the main one that's been doing it for about 19-20 years. And in our company, we have a couple of employees that have been there 20 plus years, and one of them is Mike Garcia, who's on vacation today, so have a great time, Mike, and get back quickly and safely. And Mike Garcia is one of our project managers. He started off as a carpenter in our company. Well, that's how I started off too, was a carpenter in our company. So we've grown a lot over the years. We are the largest design build firm in San Antonio of residential style anyway. And number 4, I believe, in the state of Texas, according to the rankings that we've seen in magazines. But it's really about having resources and being able to offer what people need, and we are so thrilled with the projects we get to do for you. Whether they're small or large, we treat them all with excitement and enthusiasm. And Morgan gets to see it from a different angle than I do. I'm kind of, people are doing what I'm asking them to do, and I'm working as a team with them. But she gets to see it with not being involved in it, don't you?
Yeah.
So, any observations you think that people would think would be really cool about what they would see behind the scenes, or am I putting you on the spot?
Well, I think that some things, a lot of people probably assume that this is just you and a couple of people making decisions, and one of the biggest things that I've seen in the past year have been you've assembled a team of really intelligent, focused managers that just all I think there's 8 total now that all bring a different perspective, and their number one goal is to make this a great place to work and to a great company for the client.
Right, so a great experience.
Yeah, a great experience for everyone involved.
And that's really talked about in all those management meetings. Some of them I'm a part of, some of them I'm not, because they do, they don't have to have me in every meeting, which is really great. And they keep trying to help me to be able to do other things in the company, and getting more involved in the outside world of and networking what we do and explaining to people what we do. Of course, I like to do seminars and public teaching about this business and this industry, besides what we do here on the radio. But
and you'll be doing a little bit of that next week at the Home and Garden Show, 4 seminars.
That's right, 4 seminars. The topics are going to be, I'll see if I can remember them. One of them is cost versus value in remodeling.
How to choose. How
to choose a remodeler. And these are specifics that people in the industry say should be used to choose a remodeler. Aging in place, right? And that's about universal design and how to be able to stay in your home. And on that subject, the baby boomer generation is still the main buying force in the remodeling industry, and is expected to really increase it even more because of the changes they need in their home as they're aging and getting past their 60s. And so that's still a very viable and relevant topic that is even going to become more relevant to many of you who are listening as well. And then the other topic, let's see, we mentioned 3, and I should know it. It's, well, we'll think of it in a little while. But there's 4 topics, 4 seminars being done at the Home and Garden Show. So if you'd like to, just when the flyer comes out, they'll have the dates and the times. And then right after that, I go to the booth where we're at, which is always up front. We're usually one of the most foremost up front booths. And then you'll get to see something pretty unique. This year that we're doing, we're going to have 4 screens showing before and after projects, as well as some live video of different things going on in our office and on the in projects that we filmed. So, and then we're going to have a place where we can talk, look at plans, look at details, talk about processes, talk about your project, particularly is what we love doing. We always have a great amount of people stopping by that want to talk about their project, and we just give them a card, let them call us whenever they're ready. We don't sign them up. We typically, unless they say, I want to sign up for an appointment, we'll do that, but it's not a high pressure at all, and we are really just wanting to get to know you, and you get to know us to the extent that you would like to. And so we don't believe in those high pressure sales. We feel if you really want your project to be done, you'll be calling us, and we'll be glad to do it and give you the most information that's available in this part of the country, actually. And part of what we do is educating people on this show. And over the next coming weeks and months, we're going to have some really exciting topics with guests in the studio. Of course, Morgan and I will both be in here talking about whatever interests you, and phone calls. So don't forget to call at 737-1200 or 1-800-383-WOAI. And again, we're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube. It's at KM Builders 1 on Facebook. And YouTube is just Google KM Builders, and you'll find that live. So I don't know why you'd want to see me, but Morgan's very pretty. You could watch her now, and that would be a little more better visual for you. But we are. Some people do want to put a face with the name, and we get that. And so we're excited about some of these channels that we're doing now. Again, going back to that subject of what we see in the company and what people are looking for, I do believe that that's what stands us apart, is really the people that work for us. A lot in the industry look the same, and because it used to be that we looked the same when there was a column in the yellow pages, and the person who had the biggest column looked the biggest. The person who had a smaller column looked like a smaller company, but that wasn't always true, and it was frustrating back then because I didn't believe I needed to pay for that huge ad to prove to people that we were a large company that could really serve them well and do all the things they needed. But that's what people perceive. And today, a website can give that same impression, that either they're all equal or that someone who's rarely got any resources looks like they have a lot of resources, looks like a large company. So we invite you to come see our staff, come meet us. And we do that after we meet you the first time at your house or anywhere for that matter. We invite you to come in and see the difference. And we would love to have you come to our studio at any time. Just give us a call at 680-5626 and we can set up an appointment to meet you there. Make sure that I can meet you, shake your hand, and guide you around and let you meet some other people. If you want to see projects, we'll set it up for you, a presentation for you. But we do have a caller right now. That's our first caller of the show. Let's go ahead and take our call from Jack. Jack, if you're out there, I think he's going to go ahead and switch you over right now. There we go. Hey. Yeah, I think that the pre-assembled cabinets are going to be it all depends on the quality. The ones that you assemble come in different qualities as well. They're hard to put together from what I've heard. I've not done them, but a lot of the people that do the IKEA cabinets specialize in. There are people who specialize in them.
You do have to pay. They have companies that work specifically with IKEA. You cannot put in IKEA cabinets yourself.
Yeah, they're not for the home improvement novice. Well, yes, we are actually dealers for cabinets, and we deal with the largest cabinet manufacturer in the world, and that is Master Brand. Master Brand has multiple levels at all different price ranges. So I just recommend that you come talk to us and let us see what your needs are, because there's different needs of cabinets, different cabinet companies that we represent that satisfy different levels. Like you said, your house is at one level, another house may want something different, lesser or more than what you're wanting in yours. But whatever it is, from partial full plywood cabinet to all cabinet plywoods, lifetime warranties, specialty finishes, and you just get to pick an assortment of what different features you would like. But we're the largest dealer for Master Brand cabinets, and Master Brand is the largest manufacturer of cabinets in the world. So give us a call at 680-5626 or look us up at kmbuilders.com, and we are the cabinet dealer for Master Brand in San Antonio. Absolutely. If you just go to kmbuilders.com, we have a link to all the different products that Master Brand makes. Yes, and Tidwell is the guy who owned Cardell Cabinetry originally in San Antonio that's now out of business. They've opened up under a different name now. Thank you for calling the show. Thank you. And so, just like that, you can call the show 737-1200. And Mike, we're going to have to go to a news break right now, so we'll take your call right after news break. I hope you can either call back or hang on. We're going to go to news break now. We'll be back to the K&M Builders Remodeling and Design Show.
How do you know when to go to a news break?
I look at the timing. He's struggling a little bit over there. He left that phone call on. You know, but of course the guy was off the air.
Oh,
But
okay.
it took him a while. He can't hear me.
Oh, okay.
He can talk to us anytime through here.
Oh, okay.
And then I have to pull this down for him to hear me. But he's a substitute on our first show.
Yeah.
We got a substitute program over there. So if there's any problems, don't blame me.
Yeah, we have 3 people watching on Facebook. I don't know who they are.
Can they text it?
They haven't. Oh, well, 2 people just left.
Well, you know what we should do is make sure there's no text on the screen. Well, that wouldn't show on the screen anyway, right?
No, it just does show on my screen,
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't show on them. But the Facebook one can see mine.
Uh-huh.
That's funny. There.
They showed a picture of Sean in the ministry today. He's just became an unbaptized publisher.
Who's Sean?
Sean is one of our workers.
Oh.
Come look at him. Mike sent it his first day in the ministry.
Aww. That's nice. It's funny because there's a delay. I can see the delay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look.
I see that. Now, which one are we looking at? Is there
This
delay?
one is
Oh, that was even
Facebook.
more delayed.
And this one's YouTube. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Look, I'm gonna move over there. Wow, that's funny.
Uh-huh. So did he stay on the line? Okay.
Yeah, he's still there.
Okay.
So Mike, we'll get back to you. Are you watching live? I guess not.
Maybe it's your brother.
Is he watching?
No, I can't tell.
And I'll give you this. If you think of anything off of that you want. You might just sneeze loud.
Yeah, they don't have headphones.
Who?
There's no headphones in here.
Yeah, I used to have to go get them out of Tim's desk all the time.
No wonder. We forgot to tell them what the question was. We didn't do the mic thing. Toggle the mic with that guy with the question.
Yeah. That's right. Hmm. Well, how about if, because then it's going to mess up my clock.
What do you mean?
I don't have another. Never mind. That wouldn't matter.
You can't just turn it on in the speaker
Yeah, that's true.
like that?
It's fine. We'll do that. We'll toggle it off and ask the question on the air.
So he was asking about cabinets and he asked about what the difference with IKEA cabinets, and I did research on IKEA cabinets when we were thinking about redoing Mark and Diane's, and it's expensive because you pay for the cabinets and they are cheaper than other cabinets and they do look pretty.
And what was the
you have to have an installer.
What were you looking for a small kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
How much was the price on the cabinets that you saw?
Well, I think that for a small kitchen, the ones that we wanted would have ended up being about $10,000 for the cabinets and countertops.
Oh, and countertops.
Yeah, and countertops.
Which means that you're spending
but then
somewhere
we had
around
to
8
pay
or 9.
install,
and you had to get an installer.
And you really couldn't tell until you started going through the whole process how much an installer was going to be, you know?
Yeah. Well, from that experience, I would say
it's not like just Googling it. It was tough.
Yeah, I want to mention that on the air too. That's good to know. Seconds. He said, sorry, I'm late. Messing up again. Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling Design Show. I'm live here with you, and Morgan Moehle Roberts is joining in the studio. She'll be a regular feature of the show, and we're taking your calls live at 737-1200 to talk about anything remodeling. And we appreciate Mike hanging on. If you're still there, Mike, we'd love to take your call now.
Yeah, I think they called it the pickle finish. It's kind of a white color. I think it's painted, but I'm not really sure. It's kind of pickle finish is what I've been told. In any event, my wife was interested in trying to figure out, well, do you just paint them? Do you pull out, put new ones in? And I'm trying to get an idea of cost of either just having them either refinished or painted or replaced. It basically is in a kitchen that has probably 8 cabinet doors across one side. It has an island, so I think there are 6 or 8 in the middle around the island, and of course there's a pantry door, and then there's a built-in kitchen nook that has drawers and doors. So I'm trying to get some guidance on the cost of and probably the end result too of having them either just refinished, repainted, or replaced.
Those are very good questions, Mike. And so you said it's a cabinet company, Cardell, which is no longer in business, San Antonio, so you can't match them. But you are bringing up something that is quite valid. You can refinish them. And typically with that, what I've seen with that pickled finish is it's over a maple or another paint grade material. And that's a good thing for you because that can be refinished and look very good. Those types of woods are called paint grade woods. They can either be stain grade or paint grade. Oak and alder and so forth, I mean oak and hickory are not considered paint grade woods. So they don't paint up as well, but yours probably will paint up very nicely. That pickled finish or that whitewash look that you have on there is difficult to match. One reason is because it's faded, and so refinishing them is a good option. Painting or stripping them down and staining them is possible. Probably the painting is going to be less expensive, but the cost of that is what you're also asking about, Mike. And the cost of refinishing cabinets, doing it at a high quality finish on painting, we typically see that run from about $4,000 to $8,000. And I would guess yours is probably going to be not the lowest and probably not the highest, but you know, somewhere around $5,000 is very common to do a really good quality job on refinishing. Now, you can get people to do it for $3,000, but everyone that I've ever seen, people are very dissatisfied with that $3,000 paint job. It takes multiple steps to get a very high quality finish on the cabinets that you would be happy with living with and that would actually hold up over a long period of time. What looks good for a little while or is okay for a little while may not be the long-term results, and that's what we've seen. And so the cost of getting new cabinets typically is about double that. You know, if it's 4, it's 8. If it's 5, it's 10. If it's 6, it's 12. It's typically about double. Now, when you go to specialty finishes on painting, like you have glazings and so forth, and you really make them sharp, and you go with maybe some different types of features on your painting, any type of distressing or glazings are usually going to run that up to about 2/3 of the cost of new cabinets. So you'd be looking at about 66% of the cost of new cabinets. And one of the things that you definitely want to consider before you put that money into your cabinets, are you completely happy with what you're not getting in new cabinets? There's so many features in new cabinets, to spend that extra money is usually worth it for most clients that we talk to. The exception being whenever they're moving out of the house soon. If a person's going to stay there 5 years or more, typically they're going to invest in getting the full pull-out extension drawers, soft close features, concealed hinges, stronger built cabinets. Usually they're getting a nicer cabinet, a stronger cabinet with a lifetime warranty, and that's going to go on even after you sell the house. The value is going to be back. So usually you get a better value if you go ahead and make that extra jump in the money. But one other feature that a lot of people don't realize is that that's when you can really design the kitchen better, such as, you know, the little cabinets above the refrigerator that you can't reach, that you can't get into because it's too far back.
Two small cabinet doors. So it's, you know, it has a variety. It was a custom built home. So it has a number of interesting features. So it's not just straight cabinets. And
right.
When we put in a refrigerator, we had to get a carpenter to come out and put essentially the wood on front of one of those GE refrigerators that holds a wood facade, and that it would match the rest of the kitchen. Now, is there a difference between refinishing and painting?
Refinishing it just depends. I mean, some of these cabinets can be refinished for less expensive than you can paint them, because the staining and the sealing happens a little quicker on some of these. What we have to look at is what color you have now and what color we're going to go to. In some cases, going darker, stripping this off, getting that pickling finish off of that, and then going darker is very, very possible. In some cases, it saves a little bit of money, but there's not a huge difference in the price to do a real quality job.
But refinishing versus painting, other than just sanding and then painting it, because the inside of the cabinets have they're not stained. They're kind of like a beige or brown inside. It's just you're apparently familiar with Cardell cabinets, so they didn't stain the entire insides of the cabinets to match the outside doors.
Yeah, that's typical.
Okay, so the inside really would just stay the same. My wife is just tired of the white pickle book, and of course where the pull handles are, there's a little bit of wear and tear over 19 years, but I'm worried. I've seen painted cabinets before, and they look pretty ugly, so that's why I was trying to figure out about refinishing versus painting.
Yeah, refinishing is a great way to look at, and I'll tell you this, no matter which way you go, if you get a professional like Hand Builders to do it, you're going to be very happy with the result. It's going to look professional. You know, there's plenty of people though who will say they'll refinish your cabinets or paint your cabinets, and you're not going to be happy with the results. But when you go, we guarantee those results. And and then you can figure out whether that's the money you want to spend on it or not. But you don't have to worry about whether the results are going to be good or not. It's just about, okay, which one do I want, and am I willing to put that much money into older cabinets is the real question that you'll be facing.
Mm-hmm. And KM Builders does refinishing?
Yes, we do. We have both subcontract and in-house crews that do that, and we have a paint supervisor, Louis Esparza, that oversees those projects, and we get outstanding results. Okay.
And then the timeline for that type of activity, I know that it's somewhat, it can be a messy situation. We had our, we put in granite tops, and they put, taped up everything in the kitchen, and it took about 3 or 4 days to do that. So I'm trying to figure out about the cabinets, if that's like a 7 or 8 day process or longer.
Well, you're not far off. I mean, sometimes we can do a whole cabinet job in 1 week if they're really large, or there's a lot of detail, or there's a lot of prep, depending on the color we're moving from that we're going to. Sometimes it can take over a week, maybe 7 days or something like that. And some real big projects where we're doing kitchens, bathrooms, and living room cabinets, it can take 2 weeks. But you're not far off on that, and we just keep at it, and we do as much work as we can off-site for all the doors and drawers, of course.
Okay, so you basically take all the doors off and go off-site rather than do it on-site in the garage.
Yeah, sometimes we can do it in a garage, but most people don't have the room, so we can't. It's a little bit of a plus if we can, if that's a bonus. But we usually do them off-site at our shop, and that we're already prepared for that. And that what it does is it minimizes some of the time in your home and with us being around, because that's it's a lot of time with us being in the kitchen.
Right. Okay. Well, I appreciate the information. I have your number, and I'll talk with my wife and may give you a call next week.
Well, we really appreciate that, and you calling the show. Thanks, Mike. Have a great weekend. And so just like that, you can call us at 737-1200 if you'd like to ask anything about remodeling, or and that Tracy, that line's still on there. Yeah. So, but you can give us a call, or if you're saying, I'd like to talk to them, maybe not live on the radio, then go to kmbuilders.com and you can see all of our information.
What's pickled cabinets?
What's pickled cabinets? Pickled is a kind of a whitewash. They called them pickled because sometimes they had little spots in them. They were a white. I'm glad you asked. It's got a milky finish in it. Sometimes they have a pinkish tone to them, but other times they're just a white over a maple wood, and you can see the wood through the finish. You may have seen them now. You remember seeing that?
So it's like a light coat of paint.
Yeah, it looks like a milky finish, clear like a stain, but it's milky, a milky stain, and so that's what that is. And sometimes it has little speckling in it, which makes it look like a pickle. But it's also can be just clear milky with no speckles in it. But that's an older finish that was done in the 80s, and a lot of times it starts turning color, starts looking yellow. It used to look real white. It was real pretty, but it's not popular anymore, and it definitely ages with the UV on the doors and the cabinets. So it's something that usually ends up having to be replaced if you want your cabinets or your home to look modern at all. But if you have any questions about that, join Morgan and I here on 737-1200, and we'll be right back after this commercial break to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show.
Diamonds to...
I don't know what pickled cabinets are. I looked it up, so I knew.
It was so funny because I wasn't used to you asking the question. I thought he had something on the air going over the microphones.
Saying?
Yeah, I forgot it was you.
Cabinets?
I'm like, what? What's that voice coming from? What are you doing? Charging it?
Yes.
How many people are watching right now?
3. Justin Bravo's on.
Oh, that's good.
Craig Guthrie says, hello, Keith.
Hey, Craig. How are you?
And Hannah Marie Salinas is on.
Hannah Marie. Hi, Hannah.
So I saw it, and it looked really like, to me, that whitewash looked vintage. that pickled, when I Googled it while it was going, while you were talking, and it looked pretty vintage to me.
Let me see.
Like that's what they were trying to make it look vintage.
I really think that the pickling that most people have seen, I'll show you a picture of what it looks like here. This is what most people see is called pickling.
Oh, that's like Mark and Diane's cabinets.
Yeah, exactly. This is theirs.
Ah.
That's their house right there.
No, it's not.
I know. It
Well,
looks
turn
a lot
it
like
and maybe they can see it if you turn the iPad.
That's pickled cabinets, right there.
We'll go closer to it. Oh, it's not going to be very good, but just Google pickled cabinets and you'll see what we're talking about. But when you Google...
But you see how in these, how they are very different and they're starting to look pinkish?
They look pink.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
To a lot of people, and most of these you're going to see, after they age, they look pink.
Yep.
Because the chemical reacts with the wood. Now this is what they looked like when they were new, typically. A little milkier and whiter.
Oh, and that's what I thought was them trying to make it look vintage.
Well, they do look vintage.
But not when they turn pink.
Yeah. They're not very popular anymore, but they would be cool for like maybe a standalone piece of furniture, something like that would look vintage.
Well, our friends have a piece of furniture that is that, but it's their TV stand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's a cabinet, you know, it's actually...
Yeah, it's called a whitewash or pickling stain. In fact,
it's actually a standout piece.
In fact, there is a Minwax, which is called whitewash pickling stain, that you can actually buy to do that yourself. But if you were to try to do it over an existing one, it would not work. You would not like the results.
Oh,
you have to sand all that, get it down, and change it out.
What did he say?
A minute out. I'm glad you asked the question of what pickling is, because I forget. That's why Morgan's here, so she can tell me what I'm ignoring. Seconds. Do you have any things you want to mention there? Please. Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling Design Show. We thank you for listening today and for calling in, those who've called in. And we invite you to call in at 737-1200. We have just a little bit of time left in this last segment, and hopefully you'll enjoy having Morgan on in the future and more. And tell your friends about our show, and we'd love to answer any questions we can. We do have the experience, not only in the company, but I've got decades of experience in this business. Would love to help you solve a problem or lead you in the right direction. Sometimes it's something you may want us to look at, but even if it's not us as KM Builders, then we'd be glad to help you. Give free advice. That's something we do, and it's enjoyable to help people and succeed in their projects. We do small projects. We don't do every small project, but we do some small projects, and so don't be afraid to ask. And sometimes we may refer to one of our tradespeople to do it on the weekend or something like that if it's real small. But we'd love to be able to be your resource for everything that we can and refer you to good, reliable people if we can't do that ourselves. And we'll have guests on the show periodically. Some good questions today were both about cabinets, and it illustrates that you can get quality or you can pay for less and probably regret it. In both the cases that we were talking about, types of cabinets and refinishing cabinets, both are very illustrative of the fact that you can get a huge variety of quality and not be happy with the money that you've spent. And of course, having to do it again is really expensive. Usually you have to pay the person more to touch that project than you would have if they would have done it first for you. And that's true with us too. But I think one of the things that impresses people the most about it is what Morgan mentioned about our company is that we are very large. And that doesn't impress people, but when they see where we put that strength, where the largeness is we're talking about, is in a lot of expertise. We have about 500 years experience total in the people that work in our company. And so we really do have experts in all fields. As she was saying, we have about 8 managers that help run this show. It's too big for me to handle by myself, and neither do what I do as good a job as these great managers are doing. And we know that they will really do help people to get what they want, and people like dealing with them tremendously because they feel the care and the sensitivity to their project. And we're grateful to all of you who have allowed us to work on your projects this year and those upcoming. We're excited about finishing your projects and making it the home that you really wish you wanted to have, and so we'll make you'll enjoy it from here on out. There's very few businesses that have as much fun with the money that you spend that you can do it, and so we want you to be able to have fun with your money. If you're going to spend it on yourself, then do it wisely and make sure it's something you do want to do all the time. We are just about out of time, so we want to tell you a little about how to get in touch with us. It's kmbuilders.com is our website. And you can call us at any time at 680-5626. That's 680-KMCO. And you can get a hold of a live person, usually from about 8 to 5 during the week. You can stop by our showroom, usually about 8 to 5 during the week, and someone will be there to at least greet you and tell you a little bit about our company and what we can do. We do offer direct buying services for products such as flooring, cabinets, windows, Eldorado stone, and many other projects, tile. So if you'd like to purchase products only, you builders or you home improvement do-it-yourselfers, we can sell that product to you directly because we are dealers for these products. And that has brought our bottom line pricing down so that people can, we can keep our costs lower to operate. We do need to make a profit, but we definitely can bring our costs down. We've been able to do that more than others have in these last few years. So we appreciate the opportunity to serve you not only here on the radio, but in person. Come out, give us a call, or ask us for a free consultation. We'll be glad to meet you. And then you'll find out why we say you could have someone else remodel your home, but then you'd have to live in it.
The proceeding has been a paid program. The views and opinions expressed are those of the advertiser and do not necessarily represent those of WOAI.